Well, how long can we depend on it staying, Doc?
10, 15 minutes?
That's not much time. That's plenty of time if everybody does what he's supposed to do.
In the glittering world of Las Vegas, the Rat Pack looked like an unbreakable brotherhood. Sharp tuxedos, clinking glasses of bourbon, and the effortless swagger of men who owned the stage. But behind that glamorous image was a far more complicated reality, especially for Sammy Davis Jr. While Frank Sinatra ruled Vegas like a king, Sammy was often walking a tightrope in a world that didn't always want him there. And for decades, fans quietly suspected that Sinatra's loyalty to Sammy went beyond friendship. Many believed Sinatra wasn't just standing beside him, he was protecting him. And in his final years, Sinatra finally confirmed what many had long suspected. But to understand why, we have to go back to the beginning. Their story started far from the bright lights of Las Vegas. In Detroit, 1941. A young Frank Sinatra was performing as the rising singer with Tommy Dorsey's orchestra. Backstage, a teenage prodigy named Sammy Davis Jr. was performing with the Will Maston Trio. Sammy was only 15, but already a seasoned performer. Somewhere between rehearsals and curtain calls, the two met. It seemed like a simple introduction at the time, but it sparked a friendship that would last more than 4 decades. Their paths crossed again in 1945 when Sammy showed up backstage at Sinatra's CBS radio show in Los Angeles. By then, Sinatra's career was exploding, but he didn't forget the young performer he met in Detroit. And when Sinatra had the power to choose his own opening acts in 1947, he personally invited the Will Maston Trio. But Sinatra did more than just give Sammy opportunities. He believed in him. At the time, Sammy was famous for his incredible impressions. He could imitate almost any singer perfectly. Audiences loved it. But Sinatra saw something deeper and encouraged him to stop imitating others and sing in his own voice. That advice would shape Sammy's career forever. But the world outside the stage wasn't as welcoming. In 1950, Sammy tried to enter the Copacabana in New York to see Sinatra perform, and he was turned away because of the color of his skin. When Sinatra heard what happened, he demanded that Sammy return the next night and personally made sure he was allowed inside. That moment revealed something important about their friendship. Sinatra didn't just support Sammy publicly, he stood up for him when it mattered. And sometimes he used his power to force change. When theaters refused to allow Sammy to perform because of segregation, Sinatra refused to perform there either. When hotels in Las Vegas wouldn't allow Sammy to stay on the property, Sinatra threatened to cancel shows. His message was simple. If Sammy wasn't welcome, neither was he. That kind of loyalty wasn't common in the 1950s. Then came 1954, a gay moment that nearly ended everything. Sammy was driving from Las Vegas to Los Angeles when he was involved in a devastating car crash. His face was shattered, and his left eye had to be replaced with a glass eye. Many believed his career was over. But once again, Sinatra stepped in quietly. He paid medical bills, gave Sammy a place to stay, and helped him recover until he was strong enough to return to the stage. 2 months later, Sammy was performing again. And when the Rat Pack exploded into fame in the early 1960s, with Sinatra, Sammy, Dean Martin, Peter Lawford, and Joey Bishop dominating Las Vegas and starring in films like Ocean's 11, their bond looked stronger than ever. But even brotherhoods face fractures. By the late 1970s, Sammy's life began spiraling into drug addiction, particularly cocaine. Sinatra, who had always drawn a hard line against drugs, confronted him directly. Clean up, or lose the friendship. When Sammy didn't immediately change, Sinatra did something few expected. He walked away. For several painful years, the two barely spoke. For Sammy, it was devastating. The man he saw as a mentor, and almost a brother, was gone. But time has a way of healing even the deepest divides. Eventually, the two reconciled in one unforgettable moment in Las Vegas. During one of Sinatra's performances, Sammy suddenly jumped onto the stage and joined him in song. The crowd erupted. The silence between them was finally broken. Years later, in 1990, Sammy Davis Jr. was dying of throat cancer. When Sinatra spoke about him publicly, the emotion in his words surprised many people. He said he wished the world could have known Sammy the way he did, that Sammy gave everything on stage and even more to his friends. But the most revealing part wasn't the words. It was what Sinatra did. He canceled tour dates, flew to California immediately, and sat in the front row at Sammy's funeral as an honorary pallbearer. Not as the legendary Frank Sinatra, but as a man saying goodbye to his brother. Their story wasn't perfect. It had loyalty, conflict, silence, and reconciliation. But through it all, one truth remained. Frank Sinatra didn't just perform with Sammy Davis Jr. He stood beside him when the world wouldn't. And sometimes, that kind of friendship matters, more than fame itself. If you enjoy uncovering the real stories behind legendary stars, subscribe to Hidden Stardom and discover the untold history of Hollywood icons.